Welcome to 5 Essential Stress Management Tips. This course gives you 5 tips to control stress that will improve your physical and emotional health. They range from placing boundaries on stress to identifying and avoiding stress triggers, consuming healthy snacks, and even learning how to breathe correctly to reduce stress. The key to stress management is choosing the right response when you're anxious. By fighting stress with the proper attitude and behavior, and taking preventative measures to stop stress in its tracks, you reduce its potential to cause lasting harm. Contact your employee assistance professional or healthcare provider if you have any questions about stress management. Tip number 1. Set boundaries on stress so that it doesn't overstay its welcome. Every job comes with its stressful moments. Your challenge is to make sure those moments don't drag on too long. Stress can be good in small doses. Think of the pangs of nervous energy you feel when you're about to give a speech. That shows you're alert, excited, and ready to perform at your best. When you feel keyed up, agitated, or overwhelmed, embrace that sensation rather than resist it. Treat it as a short-term positive, a phase that you must pass through on your way to deliver peak performance. At the same time that you welcome the stress, decide how long it will stay with you. Here's an example. If your boss unexpectedly rejects your report and asks you to redo it, say to yourself, "I'll shift into stress mode for 2 minutes to deal with what's going on here. Then I'll move on, stress-free." To set boundaries on stress, separate past, present, and future. It's normal to feel stress about the current situation, especially if it's difficult or unpleasant. But if you're dwelling on past events and still harboring anxiety about them, or you're overcome with dread about a task or meeting that's scheduled for next week, then you put yourself in a weaker state to handle what's facing you right now. Draw a stress box. On a piece of paper, summarize the source of your stress in a few words. Then draw a box that encloses the words you've just written. Give yourself a minute or two to feel anxious about the issue. Then take a thick felt tip marker and draw a big red X through the box. This is your visual signal to stop worrying. Here's another tip. If you're alone, smile or pump your fist triumphantly as short-term stress sets in. If you're not alone and you want to appear outwardly calm, tell yourself it's great to feel stress now. This reinforces your eagerness to welcome stress as a positive, and it gives you the confidence and control to write it out and let it go quickly. It's true. With some people, stress hormones remain elevated instead of returning to normal levels. This tends to occur in people with a history of depression. If you set boundaries on stress but it still lingers even after you make every effort to shut it down, see your EAP. True or false? I feel stress at work. It tends to flare up for a few minutes at a time and then die down. I don't carry stress around with me all day. Your self-talk pattern determines in large measure how long you will carry stress with you. Something that was very stressful in your life 2 weeks ago may not be stressful now. That's because you're now focusing on other issues and concerns in your life. Your thinking has changed. Intervening with these thoughts, reducing catastrophic thinking, is a key intervention. Tip number 2, identify and avoid stress triggers. Stress doesn't occur in a vacuum. Something or someone causes it. By recognizing the triggers that cause stress, you can take steps to avoid them in the future. Common stress triggers include meeting with a difficult boss or colleague, worrying about personal problems, and facing too much work in too little time.